Hi. La 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 la. That's how you can do it. I know. Learning every single day. Thank you, God. Hi, Milo. How are you? I just popped on here live today to have a little discussion about me today. Hi. I love you, girl. You're amazing. Thank you for being a friend. Um, So I'll start talking and you can listen as people join in with us. If you leave. I'm going to record this and put it on YouTube. But I just today had enough time from the trauma of the week before. Today's a week. Oh, thank you, Milo. Well, that's why I'm sharing today about me. From my heart, not from a victim standpoint or from a victor standpoint. Okay. Um, you would think being a good person mean people would treat you well. But the way of the world doesn't work that way. You have to stand up for your person, for yourself. What is that? You see that? Just something just flashed through. Anyway, these are tears of release today. I've just had enough time, a week away from the week of trauma in the last year. I got coffee. Okay, a little bit of coffee. Cheers. You got tea. I got coffee. I love that tea. No drama, right? It's weird. Once you're away, it's all been drama since the moment just my whole life, I think. Good. I know. Hi, we got someone else here. I pray for you, Milo, and your family and for that whole situation. I know, honey. It will work itself out. I pray for her, even though she is who she is, darling. And she's still a soul. She's lost. She's been through a lot. But she also has to learn to stand up for herself like I did. And that's why I'm here today. Spirit, at this moment, Spirit said, share this moment. It's hard, you're crying. To show people, to be strong, it's okay to cry. Crying releases the trauma and the pain from the body. Taking me a week to get here, after a week of whatever that was, it's okay to cry. People don't understand that. Me too, me too. Even though the drama was there, I still, concerned for her as a soul. I'm not a cruel person, but I understand you have to stand up for yourself. After my back broke 2 years ago, two herniated discs in my lower back, I was living with my daughter, still trying to find myself, still trying to heal myself. I didn't know who I was. I was still lost, spiritually trying to find myself, meditating, letting go of all the trauma that had gone through my life, confused at why my daughter, when my back broke, didn't want to help me and then kicked me out the next May. even though I couldn't work, my back was broke. I tried to help her family. No, I'm not perfect. And yes, of course, when you're still healing, you make decisions you wouldn't make now. But still in all, you know you're a good person. You keep going and you never give up. Never give up. You care for others and you even care for those that hurt you. You walk away and you pray for them. Just like the family here, right? So my back had herniated and I became homeless end of May 2024. Well, my supposed friend here offered to give me a home, sent me money to come down here. And then he got ill a year ago, September, and I became his caregiver while he laid in bed for months on end and fought me and didn't want to take his medication, didn't want to go to dialysis. His family fought me. His whole family fought me. I asked them for support. I reached out. I stood up for myself. I stood up to him. I stood up to them. Even though I was in fear of being homeless again, I stood up. And finally, after not getting any help from the family, struggling and dealing with his kidney disease and his whatever he was dealing with. Oh, Milo says, you've been through more than I have, and I have respect for you because you stayed smiling. Thank you. I stay smiling because no one can take away your soul, darling. No one can take away your soul. They can mess with your body and mess with your life, but you have to take responsibility at the end of the day. What are you attracting into your life? I'm not the victim here, really. They chose to do the actions, and they will have to deal with the consequences coming back to them. After being homeless and coming here, and then taking care of him and having him and his whole family turn on me, and within a week, I said I stood up for myself and I said I can't be your caregiver. That day, his whole family, when are you getting out? I wasn't moved down here to be his caregiver. I just ended up being it because I was here and I care and I have a caring heart and I'm a giving person. But by not standing up for myself along the way, I allowed them to use me. They didn't pay me until August, and I threatened them. I'm tired of being your slave, taking care of him for you guys, and not getting paid anything, and doing it all by myself. And then every time I ask them for help, they fight me and want to kick me out. But they finally gave me $200 stipend a week in August. And then by September, him not taking his medication, refusing to go to dialysis on a consistent basis, fighting his doctor. And then I finally had enough and I said, no, I can no longer be your caregiver. And then all of a sudden, him and his entire family said, get out. So right now I'm in transition of homes, and God has graced me with a week of silence and solitude to heal and let go of the trauma that I went through just recently with him and his family. The one thing that helped me through this is after what happened and I became homeless and came down here. When he became ill and that, I ended up with a lot of solitude and silence time, which at first drove me nuts, but it served a purpose. I never wanted what happened with my daughter to happen again. Now, God told me, He told me, yeah, He did take advantage of me. His whole family took advantage of me. But I allowed it. I allowed it by not standing up for myself. You know, you really got to stand up and say, what was my part in this role? Why did my vibration attract this? Because I wasn't fully healed and I wasn't in my moment yet. I'm just releasing the trauma, and because it really shook me that week that ended a week ago. It shook me back into the trauma response I haven't been in for years. So I knew I was doing the right thing by standing up for myself, even though my body's shaky because it remembers the trauma from before. So you can heal from trauma, but the body still has memory of it. Doesn't mean you're the victim anymore. It just means you're in a human body, you've had an experience, and sometimes you cry, and crying releases it. Yes, I'm a strong person, and I've been through a lot, and sometimes you have days like these, and they're okay to have. And I want to make sure people out there know it is okay to cry and release. You've been through trauma, you've experienced people that don't have any love in their heart, that take advantage of you. Take time for yourself. Recenter, refocus, get back to your peace, release this emotion. Let your body cry, do what you need to do. Find that peace inside and meditate. That's why I love creating meditations and sharing myself. It's healing for me to share, to help others hopefully not have such a hard journey. Anyway, it's been a long road. Starting out with parents that never connected with me, never taught me how to love myself. My dad left us when I was 8, left me with my mother. Oh, I don't know what her deal was. She had her son, she didn't want me, she made it clear. I was just this extra child that she didn't want, that only my father wanted, but he left and she's saddled with me. So that was my childhood. Never taught to connect with anybody. And I can understand because I loved everybody and I don't hate anybody. I've never hated anybody. I don't like actions. So I've strived my entire life to understand why I attracted these things into my life, to take responsibility for myself, not for their actions, but for my own choice of getting myself into that situation. Because at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for your own life because nobody else can. You're the one who made your choices. You're the one who has to live with them. You're the one who created your own vibration, no matter what the world does. And thank God, one of the main reasons I've been able to make it through with strength is because I've listened to Spirit. Spirit warned me that my own daughter would do these things, and I couldn't believe that she would do these things, and she did. So when she did, all I could do was walk away. What else could you do? But this time I'm fighting. I'm standing up and fighting. I'm saying, you're not going to walk all over me and do what you want to me when I have legal rights to take time for a moment to find a place without you just throwing me out on the street. You brought me here. And you and your whole family just wanted to throw me out on the street. I was warned about that too. So I wasn't shocked. Which is funny, he told me within the last couple months after I woke up choking for no reason at all. Take with that what you want. I didn't know I was going with that. But anyway, I'm in a day of release. I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. I made it this far. I'm still standing strong. I've been through hell and back. And yeah, it took me a week to be able to cry, to really cry about this situation today. God warned me, Spirit warned me that this would happen. I didn't know how or when. I just knew I couldn't live in fear anymore, and I had to stand up for myself, no matter if his family was going to completely turn against me and try to throw me out after all I've done for them. But this is the way a lot of people are out there. So I wasn't shocked. I was a little traumatized from him getting so angry and throwing things this week, and then realizing that waking up randomly, not being able to breathe, and then him telling the story that he told me could not have been coincidence. That's not normal. So I've been protected. I'm still here. I'm still standing strong no matter who or what has tried to throw at me. That really, really shows your strength. Do you stand in your power, or do you be the victim? Do you stand there and blame everyone else for your stuff? You can only take so long to blame everyone else for your stuff until you got to look at yourself. For me, tears today are just tears of release. A lifetime of trying to get to me. That was my goal after my ex 6 years ago. Was when I broke. No matter how hard times have been in the last 6 years, nothing before or after could compare to the experience of him. And after you fall apart like that, and somebody has taken everything from you, everything, once you learn to stand up, you never give up on yourself again. Never. No matter who gives up on you along the way, your own children walk away from you. You lose your grandchildren, you lose your home, you lose everybody. All your friends walk away from you. You become homeless, and then you come down here to more abuse. But I was trained before I got down here. I mean, after what I went through 6 years ago and dragging myself out of that for the last 6 years, even though I'm shaken from him and his family for that week, I'm just still in shock. The depths of hatred from him and his family. I mean, I understand hatred. I lived through it. That's the only way I understand it. I don't understand truly hating somebody and intentionally hurting them. Like promising that, I understand what your daughter did and I'll be a friend, and then just turning on you. But I already knew that was going to happen. Scott told me. I always try to see the good in people. I'm not perfect. And I've been dealing with my own emotions, especially after leaving my daughters. You really got to sit and look at yourself, right? How do I get to a point where everyone walks out of my life? And it wasn't a bad thing. I had to look at myself. How do you look at yourself when you're attached to everything outside of yourself? You can't really look at yourself. That's why I'm so adamant about the heart-mind connection. I fought so hard. I'm like, who am I? Who am I? This world says this and this and this. And I work so hard and everyone around me tells me and does these things like last week. And I'm like, I'm not a victim. So what in my field attracted this? I wasn't standing up for myself. And now I won't stop. I placated for them. I dimmed my light to not ruffle his feathers or theirs. And that's really what I did most of my life. From childhood, I learned to dim. Somehow, when I was really young, and I can't remember, I was taught not to speak, that I was just to give, that my needs were not important, that you're to give, and just, that's all you were supposed to do. But that's not it. I was meant to love myself. And never learning to love that's what I fought for, is to learn who I was and to love me. And that's how I can smile, is because I'm connected to my soul now. I was never disconnected. What disconnected me was the emotions in the world and the programming that we signed up for. And now I just don't even care if people think I'm crazy. This is my life. I have experienced life through energy. And I never had anyone to talk to about that. My mother didn't even want to get to know me, let alone understand that I was different than her and everyone else, nor could she understand. And I really didn't have anybody around me. Who do you talk to when nobody could possibly understand? And 99% of the people around you have no empathy. So how could they understand empathy or the feeling of energy when they don't even feel it themselves? That's not a bad or good thing. That's just how they function. That's why I don't hold bitterness for people and what they do and what they've done and what they've choices to do to me on their end. Because it's their choice. Why should I hold bitterness in my body or anger against them and carry that again? Because my whole life, that's all I did was carry. My parents didn't teach me how to release the energy of emotions or to even look at emotions or deal with them. Because, those generations were taught to bury, bury, bury. You don't talk about mental issues or being open. And you definitely don't get to know each other. You don't show each other love. You just put up with each other. And I don't know, that's just the way it was. I never understood it because the way I was born, in my heart, I always felt love. I always felt unconditional love in my heart. Like I knew it was there, but through life, I couldn't feel it anymore. I didn't know what love felt like again. I didn't know what I felt like. I didn't know who I was through all the stuff that happened in my life. Who am I now? I played all these roles. I was this person and that person, and I was a friend, mother, but really, who is Dawn? Who am I? I'm not just roles for other people. I am also a spirit. I am also me. So in finding me, that's how I can smile and allow days for crying, because I have made it through a lot. I never gave up when I wanted to, and I wanted to so bad. There were times I begged God, please make it stop. But I didn't understand it was my emotions that were attracting all these things. But I learned. Really, you plan your life. So either you stay the victim and say, oh, this person did that, they that. It's their choices. And what energy they put out, they also get back. And in knowing that my intentions were pure, and I've been honest, and I've lived an honest life, and I've changed myself, I allow other people to be who they are. Yes, I'm in shock after their actions were so intense. My body still remembers the trauma, and I haven't had a trauma response in a very long time. It's been at least 3 years since I've had 3 or 4 years since I've had a really bad trauma response. And it wasn't like before either. Like my body is shaking, but my soul is not. But I recognize the symptoms because I'm just letting it settle down right now. And today, I finally talk about it because I'm not the victim. I'm standing up for myself, and I'm so happy for that. And through the last year, I've listened to Spirit. I sat with myself. I started standing up for myself, one small step at a time, until I had to stand up to the whole family at once. It was scary, yes. I was scared shitless because I knew what they were going to do, because they already shown me they have no empathy for me whatsoever. They didn't hide their intentions of actually caring for me and supporting me as I supported him. So, where I was going with that. So I wasn't under the illusion that they cared, but it was still shocking, his anger and all of that. So I'm just settling in today. So I'm in this in-between time. But no matter who he is or what happened in the last year, I took that solitude and I utilized that. I didn't sit there and cry about being the victim and just continually sit there and be the victim this last year. I took that time to figure out why these things has happened in my life. God provided while he was laying in bed for months on end, literally months on end, in bed while I did everything. I had plenty of time to sit in silence and solitude and really look at myself. I wanted to find myself, and I did. Finally. Oh my gosh. I may make it look easy, but dude, the ones that make it look easy, I am telling you, we are the ones who have been through the depths of hell and have had just about everything done to them you could possibly imagine. Yeah. You want to know how I can stand strong today? I've been through hell. And I dragged myself out because I didn't want that life anymore. I asked God for a change. I asked Spirit myself. I'm like, I don't know myself and I don't like this life and I don't want this life anymore. So for 6 years, every single day, 1% at a time, no matter if I can't see the results or not, I kept going because I'm important and I care for me. And I started loving myself and I started looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. And then I kept asking myself, why are these things happening? What else do I need to do? Every day I ask myself, is there something else I need to do for myself to create the life that I want? Is there something else I am holding inside that I need to let go? And that was really a hard question for me over this last year. What am I holding that's keeping this stuff in my life? Seriously, you have to take responsibility for your life. And for so long, I didn't know how to because nobody taught me. How the heck did I know? I didn't have parents that taught me. I raised children, but it's not their responsibility to teach their own mother. Oh, come on. So I reached out to Spirit. I reached out to myself. I meditated. I took my life back. So I'm not the victim in this one. I'm standing up for myself. I'm not allowing this family to just do what they want when I have legal rights. So hoo-ah to me. Even though I feel traumatized, I will never stop standing strong and stop standing up for myself. I have been through too much. I have had way too much confirmation from Spirit, through visions, through witnessing miracle healings in other people, just witnessing miracles, and just through being able to touch other people's lives through my entire life, having people come up to me, needing that second of just being heard and loved, and just watching them click with a smile as they walk away is the best gift you could ever have. That's the best feeling in life, when you give in the moment, when you're inspired, and it uplifts another person, that is absolutely the best feeling in the entire world. When you give from your heart without expectation, not because you think you're going to get something back, but because you give from a heart, because you're inspired to in that moment. God says to give. Your spirit says to give, and you give. But it doesn't mean give and keep giving when they keep taking and they don't respect you. That's why I had to stand up for myself this last year. And I did. So it's been a long life. Through the parents, raising children on my own, dealing with my parents' death in 2011. That's when the huge anxiety, really, that's when my life shifted. Didn't know who I was. My parents passed away. So actually, since 2011, I've been lost. I'm like, okay, well, now who I am. So I really, that's how I got to my ex. I was lost. I didn't know who I was. I had no self-esteem. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know how to, you know. So I opened the door to that experience. And boy, did I experience. But when I prayed and I asked God for strength in the middle of it, I stood up and I left him. Even though I was in fear of his retribution, standing up to him face to face alone in his own home that day when I left him, that empowered me to keep going the rest of my life. After that moment, no matter what, I was never ever going to give up on myself again. And I haven't, really. And that's why I'm still here today. No matter what happened or who tried to do what to me, because of their own stuff, and I invited them in. Because really, if somebody's hurting you or causing drama or chaos in your life, you got to look at yourself. You really have to look at yourself. The reason the world is the way it is right now is because we forgot to stand up for ourselves. We allow the world to tell us who we are when we're all unique, and we should be able to be unique, just who you are, without judgment. You learn to respect other people. You don't hurt them. You love them. And some of them you love from a distance and allow them to play out their life over there. Okay? That's the only thing you can do. You can love them from a distance, allow them to be who they are, but they don't have to be in your life. And it doesn't matter who they are. Whether they're your mother, brother, sister, I don't care who they are. They're your child. You gave birth to them. If they're disrespectful and they hurt you in any way, you do not have to allow them in your energy field or your life ever again. It's up to them on whether they forgive themselves and come to you. Not for you to sit and feel guilty because of their choices, right? Guilt is another thing that keeps you from yourself. Guilt, anxiety, depression. I've learned so much over the years, and that's why I talk. And I'm so glad God inspired me through all that I went through. I listen to my intuition. Do you listen to your intuition? That's how I'm able to smile, because my intuition talks loudly, because I let go of all these things from before. I had thousands and thousands, I'm telling you, literally. In my mind, I had, imagine sitting in a room, this huge room, and it's all TV screens. They're all on a different thought, on a different thing, and they're all talking at once on different things. Imagine living your life in that. That was my existence before I took the power of peace and quiet back. That was the noise of the world that I was carrying. That was the 50,000 tons of energy that I held on to that I didn't even need. Because in this moment, I don't need that stuff. It doesn't serve me. So I'm letting go of all that doesn't serve me. And that's really what today is about. Letting go of what happened last week, the last year, the rest of life, while I have this solitude time alone, with no one here in my face, yelling and screaming, and I don't know what else. It's not even worth getting into. You can finally settle. That's why solitude is a gift. How can you hear your intuition when you're always got your TVs on and you're always on social media and you're always going through drama and you're always thinking out here about everything, and you don't take time with your soul? How do you get to know who you are? Not what the world tells you to be. That's why I smile. I smile from my heart, not from this world, not because somebody else made me happy, because I'm finally made myself happy by standing up and believing in me. The power of self-love has got me here. Self-love, dedication to myself. Every single moment of my life. That moment I stood up 6 years ago, back in 2019. Yeah, I was never going to give up on myself again and allow someone to just do whatever they want, however they want it to, and allow them to keep doing it. So, and I knew it was going to be a long road. I prayed and I prayed. And like I said, I've had some really deep spiritual experiences that are hard to share because people just look at you like, oh, you just crazy. Well, I don't care anymore because these are my experiences and they happen. And the only thing that got me out of the trauma, that I don't even know how people disconnect from people like that. Um, I do, actually. I say I don't, but I disconnected through spirit. The only way I was able to disconnect from him was from the will to do it. I asked for the help, and then when the help came, I accepted it, and then I took the steps that I needed to do to move forward. Okay? Spirit can only show you the way, but you have to take the steps. It's not easy. It's not meant to be easy. If it was easy, then you wouldn't learn. That's really what these lives are about. Yeah, I went through all this stuff, blah, 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 but this hasn't been my only life. I've had previous lives. I've remembered them. At least 2 or 3 lives I remembered. I did a past life meditation, and I remembered a past life. That would be cool. I'm going to pray on that, meditate on that. That'd be cool to create one. I don't remember the meditation, but it was powerful. What I did was I came across this meditation. It was a past life meditation. So what I did is I recorded it with soft music in the background with my voice. So then I sat and listened to it, and that was the first time in meditation that I really realized how powerful that was, even though that was in my 20s. But it took me a long time to realize that meditation is really powerful for daily use, really, in any moment. And it teaches you to be in your moment. That's what meditation does. And eventually, you're just living that meditative moment. Um, and you still have to be mindful of being here. Hello. Even being in your moment, you have to be mindful of the thoughts that are coming through because your energy, everything is energy. And what this is where you got to be the victor of your life. Your choices bring in those energies into your life. What you focus on, right? The chaotic person that you allowed into your life. Why did you allow them into your life? What was going on? Why did you attract that person in? What inside you, energetically, why did you open that door and say, hey, here, and then attract them in and then bring that into your life, into your energy field. So that's really what I'm doing right now is releasing that attachment, any attachments, anything left in my body right now. So that's why it was fun doing that meditation last night and I put it on YouTube. Just releasing all the energies. And I'll probably rewatch it today just to meditate through it with myself. It's just fun. And I love creating these videos. I think I'm winding down finally. Thank you to anybody who's been here today. This has been it's like a transitional, and I know I'm not the only person out there right now in this spot where they're transitioning from their old life into a new life and keeping the faith even though you don't know what tomorrow brings, but that's okay. You just know that your vibration is the most important thing to maintain in your life. You want to change the world, change your vibration. How do you change that? What are you focusing on? What are you talking about? Your words are vibration. When you make it verbal, it's powerful. Now you can add thoughts in that, but as you know, verbalizing is powerful. That's why I am statements are so powerful and help me along the way, and I know they help everyone. So now I'm just rambling. I just want to say thank you, everyone, today for anybody who's been here during this chat. Spirit told me to go live during this moment of transition in my life, really. That's what it is. A lot of us are going through moments of transition where people are leaving their lives, and we've learned to stand up for ourselves. We've learned that we are worthy of everything. I've learned that no, most people probably won't understand me, but that's okay. It doesn't mean I have to stop talking. Spirit inspired me to start creating these videos, and I've been speaking every day since the beginning of June, and it has been a joy. It's been therapeutic, and really my whole life I've been inspired to help others. That's my drive, and that's how I was taken advantage of when I didn't stand up for myself. But my soul, my purpose is still here, and that's how you find your soul purpose. I'm not sure how it's all going to unwind from here, but I know in this moment that I'm happy in my soul and at peace because I have lived an honest life. I have been honest. And finally let go and at peace within. And finally know me enough to stand up for me and know that I'm worthy. And that's really all your spirit wants you to do too. Forget what the world tells you, what religion, anything outside of your soul, anything from this world. Forget that for a moment. Who are you inside? So important to know who you are inside. Then it'll help you deal with these challenges easier. And you stand up for yourself, stand up for your rights. Do the best you can in every single moment. Be in your moment. That is your goal. All peace and love are in your moment. So now I can sing, I can paint, I can smile, I can create these videos and go live. Yes, it's still nerve-wracking. Like, that's how I knew I was supposed to go live today because I feel that anxious push that this is what I'm supposed to do. And I'm like, okay. Because if I don't do it, then it just gets louder. Speak. Okay, I'm speaking. The fun part of listening to yourself and hearing your intuition and hearing your higher self, your life begins to flow. You give up the reins of having to have control of everything in your life. Because really, we charted this. How could it just be happen chance that everything's just coincidence or just happens that way? No, no, we are energy. Of course we planned this out. This life is like a movie. I've always thought of it as like one movie to another. It just feels like a complete Twilight Zone to me since the moment I've been born. The moment I incarnated in this body, this place has felt like the Twilight Zone. But now I understand more of everything. This world is so much more fascinating. We were not told the truth of the history of this world. But that's okay because now we get to discover these wonderful societies and these wonderful things that existed right below us, right around us, and we didn't even know it. Our world is so much more magnificent. The history of the world is so much more magnificent than you could ever imagine that we were ever told. So instead of looking at it as they kept this from us and they kept that from us, look at it as you volunteered to come in and not know who you were, to be programmed. I mean, how tough of a soul are you to have made that choice just to incarnate on this, whatever, to incarnate in these bodies, to have these experiences of lack and separation when you're never truly separated. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go relax for a little bit. Thank you all for joining me, for listening to me babble on. I don't even know how long I've been on here. So God said speak. He said just randomly turn it on and speak. So here I am. Self-confidence comes from knowing you're worthy of everything and following your intuition and your heart. When you follow unconditional love and you treat everyone with the how you want to be treated with and how you treat yourself, right? If you were cruel to yourself when you want to space yourself from yourself, right. So remember, we're all here together doing this experience. Look at life as a stage. This is your character, this is your experience, these are the lessons you're learning. Either you keep learning or you learn and you really start living. Do you want to live? Of course, you're going to still learn. That's what this life is about. It's just the lessons will change. Once you learn the lessons that brought you to today, you get to move on and never have to experience them again. So learn your lesson, love yourself, and follow your flow, your uniqueness, your purpose. Each one of us has a purpose in life. Each one of us. What's yours? Love you all. Um, Thank you so much for being here. I mean, I just started beginning of June, started sharing again, and it's been magnificent. There were times where I worried that I won't have anything to share. How am I going to make video? And through the stress of living here with another person, finding the times of peace where I did it though. I found peace every single day and I made videos every single day, even though it was hard here through what I was going through. So if I'm not proof that tenacity and never giving up on yourself works, then I don't know what to tell you. I never gave up. I'm not here as a victim today. I'm here as a victor. Yes, I have moments where I cry because my body needs to release what I've been through. Your body deserves that. Once you release it from the soul, your body will release. And then your life releases. That's how you change your life. The miracle of life is finding you. Stop blaming everyone outside of yourself for controlling you when you're allowing them to. It's really my main thing in my life is I had to stand up for myself. Once you learn the main lesson, I had to sit here and think, what was the main thing in life? The main thing that has always happened to this point that I needed to learn to stop. And that was allowing people to take advantage of me and not standing up for myself. So if you learn anything from me, learn that. Don't you ever dare let anybody outside of you make you feel less than. Ever. What they say, what they act is only a mirror of what's inside them. When you love yourself, you cannot help yourself but love others. Hatred has no room in your heart when love takes place. That's how I am able to live in peace. Yes, my body's still shaky from what happened here, but not my soul. So please, take advantage of the meditations that Spirit has me create. I create them with Spirit. Anytime I'm on video or any meditation or anything, I don't create these things ahead of time. I do not sit and plan things out. Because if I was up here planning things out and not here, my mind goes blank. Because I ask God to live in authenticity, to guard my mouth from speaking untruths, and to keep me in check if I ever do. Okay? Because don't be hard on yourself. You're in this body, you're dealing with this world. Sometimes when you're pulled out of your moment, you may do things that you would have done in your moment. You may have said things that maybe you shouldn't have. But you own up to it immediately. And you remind yourself to stay in your moment, be mindful. Everything in your body and your life is teaching you, pointing you to the direction of your heart, your soul, you. You're disgusted with the world. Look within. Why aren't you happy with yourself? Love you. Signing off for now. Namaste. All I can say is thank you, everybody, for anybody who's ever watched any of my videos. It's just a joy just to share. I don't get paid for this. I don't care to get paid for this. I do this for me. I do this for Spirit because this is what I'm called to do. So here I am. Finally me. Not afraid to speak up and be me. Finally, find your voice, whatever that is. May not be making videos, may not be painting. I love to paint. Actually, there is one that's my most recent painting. You can't see it real well, but follow your intuition. Find your joy, find your peace. That's what you're meant to do. Once you learn your lessons and let go, it's still okay to cry if you have a tough moment and your body's letting go. It's still okay to cry. It's okay to have tough moments. You chose to come in here, so release. Release, release, release. Stop carrying the past. Stop carrying the future. For all you have is this moment. This is all you have right here, this moment. This moment is all you have. What are you doing with it? Love you all. I'm just winding down. Thank you for joining me, Dan. Um, I'm going to post this on YouTube and you can watch the full discussion. So thank you for joining me today. Stand strong, be you, believe in yourself. Remember, your energy, your choices are energy, your thoughts are energy, your feelings are energy. And when your thoughts are chaotic and your feelings are chaotic, you can't find peace. So you quiet the thoughts, which quiet the emotions. and then you have peace in every moment. Love you, and have a wonderful day. Take care of you. Never, ever give up on yourself. Never, ever let anybody let you feel less than. You are beautiful. You are magnificent. You are amazing. You are magical. You are energy. We are all one, connected. Raise that vibration. Be you. Be unapologetically who you are inside, not what the world tells you to be. You are not just one label. You are you. Love you.